Hello student, my name is Gaetan. Today we are going to see the challenge to the regime, the popular revolution and the fall of the monarchy and the military dictatorship. After the end of this subtopic, you will be able to discuss the popular Ethiopian revolution and its consequence. Second, describe the transition of transitional government of Ethiopia and the formation of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. List the causes of the Bale and Gojam rebellion. First topic, the challenge of the regime, the failed coup in 1916. It was organized by educated officials to overthrow Emperor Haile Selassie government. Its leader was Garmamme Nwai and Mengistu Nwai. On December 14, 1916, a new government was declared. The head of government was to be the liberal aristocratic Ras Emru Haile Selassie. During the time, Emperor Haile Selassie was absent in the country. He was in Brazil in December 1960. His imperial bodyguard staged a coup. Haile Selassie came back quickly to give his endangered throne. Brigadier General Segedibu could not resist the might of the army and air force. Then the loyalists won the victory after the battle that lasted only 2 days. The lost confidence. Garmamme Nwai was killed on their way back to Mountain Zukwala. Then, at the same time, Mengistu was badly wounded and captured. The coup was easily crushed. Only the university students support the coup of 1916. Second one, the Bale rebellion. The main cause of Bale rebellion was maladministration, land alienation, heavy taxation, national oppression, and religious bias. By the way, the only Ethiopian rebellion was assisted by foreign power was the Bale rebellion. Somali was supporter of Bale rebellion. The Bale rebellion includes Wabi rebellion. It carried out by Haji Isa Muhammad Dadi, the Dollo rebellion carried by Balambaras Wako Lungo, and Grazmach Cherigutu and his brother Wako Gutu also involved in the Bale rebellion. Finally, the solution of Emperor Haile Selassie was Wako Gutu was given the title of Grazmach. Wako became Grazmach. He became a wealthy man in the village of Maddaolabu near Manna town. By this action, Emperor solved the question of Bale rebellion. Second, the Gojam rebellion. The main cause for the rise of Gojam rebellion was the government attempted to increase the amount of tax. Second one, maladministration. The other cause, the government forced to contribute to erect the statue of emperor in Gojam. During that time, Damot, Mota district were the forefront of the rebellion. Resistance expanded into adjacent district of Bichena, Debre Marcos, and Bahar Dar. Finally, the solution of Emperor Haile Selassie to solve this rebellion. On May 1969, Emperor Haile Selassie visited Gojam. The emperor gave promotion and festus awards, titles, and medals for the peasant. Most of the question of the peasant was solved. Then the peasant received pardon. By this action, Emperor Haile Selassie solved the problem of Gojam. The other one, the Ethiopian student movement. The first university college was established in 1915. The teachers and the curriculum were imported from the Western world. The first newspaper was News and Views. The first student association was University Student. It was established in 1959. The student struggle against Emperor Haile Selassie. Student played the role of political opposition in many ways. First one, the absence of political parties and a strong indigenous class in the country. Second one, social respect given to educated few in a country of high rate of illiteracy. The third one, the campus life gave the student leaders the opportunity to discuss about the national issue of the country. In 1965, the university students staged the demonstration in front of the parliament by showing their own slogan. The slogan was "Land to the Tailor." While deputies were debating the regulation of the tenancy, in 1967, the student newspaper was replaced by Struggle. The first, News and Views. Second one, Struggle. The various college unions in Addis Ababa into one organization called University Student Union of Addis Ababa. In the November 1969 issue of Struggle, an article was published in the Nationalist Problem by Walalling Makonnen. This article says that the government whose ethnic policy was repressive. This article was wrote by Walalling Makonnen. Then, in the late December 1969, the president of University Student of Addis Ababa, Tilahun Giza, was killed by government agent. Many students also killed by this action. The Ethiopian students at home and abroad used their own journal. The third journal was Tatak, or Geared Yourself, and changes were brought Ethiopia and put into circulation secretly from Ethiopian student European USA. Then the student will send their own instructors resisted the government policy of hiddening the famine of Wollo and Tigray by 1973 and 1974. The other one, the Etio-Somali conflict. On independence, British and Italian Somaliland were united and emerged independent as Republic of Somalia on June 1, 1916. The new republic was ambitious to build the Greater Somalia and adopted a flag with 5-pointed star, symbolizing the 5 territories which Greater Somalia wanted to possess. According to the design, Somalia wants the following territories. First one, the former Italian Somaliland. Second one, British Somaliland. The French Somaliland, Ogaden, Northern Frontier District of Kenya. Those are the 5 states that was wanted by the Somali nationalists. In 1964, the Somali leaders began to a serious clash along 1,600 kilometer Etio-Somali border. Ethiopia and Somalia conflict ended by the declaration of Khartoum. Then Somalia leader appealed to the UN Security Council but did not gain positive response. Then OAU summit held in Cairo in July 1964 passed all member states to respect the border existing on their own achievement of the national independence. But in July 1967, in Somalia, Ali Sharmarke became president of Somalia. Ibrahim Igali became prime minister. Ibrahim Igali and Ali Sharmarke followed detente, but later General Said Barre or Ziad Barre took over political control through coup on 21 1969. The detente was failed. He restarted the policy of unifying the Greater Somalia in the Horn of Africa. The policy of Greater Somalia was changed to Western Somalia. This led to aggression of Somalia against the border of Ethiopia. 8.4 The Popular Revolution and the Fall of Monarchy. In the opening years of 1970s, the economic, political, and social problems of the country were still awaiting solution. The immediate cause for this movement of 1974 was the famine of Tigray and Wollo in 1973. Because the government hid the famine, the foreign media, especially BBC exposed it. Jonathan Dimbilbi, he exposed about the famine of Ethiopia. Then public hatred against the regime grew strong and broke out into open revolt in February 1974. The beginning of the revolution. The first revolt on February 1974. January 1974, soldiers stationed at the town of Nagalle Borana pushing against the bad condition of their life. The rise of petroleum price because of Arab-Israel war or the fourth Arab-Israel war, and opposing the price rise, taxi drivers in the capital went on strike in February 1974. At the same time, teachers opposed the educational sector review. Then the Prime Minister Aklilu Habtewolde, unable to solve the problem, then he was replaced by another Prime Minister, Ndalkacho Makonnen. Then the new Prime Minister promised to initiate reform, including constitutional reform. But on June 1974, the committee made a call in the military units through the country stand their representative, excluding officers above rank of major, to the capital. Upon the arrival of delegates, the meeting was held in 28 July 1974 at headquarters of the 4th Division. By this movement, the meeting formed a committee. That committee was known as Dirk. The Dirk was formed on July 1974. The Major Mengistu Haile Mariam, he was the delegate of the Third Army Division in Hararge. He becomes the first vice chairman of Dirk. Mind you, student, the first vice chairman of Dirk, Mengistu Haile Mariam. The second vice chairman of Dirk, Major Atnafu Abate. The chairman of Dirk, Aman Mikhail Andum. Then Dirk marked the beginning of dual power in the country. Then Dirk exercised its own power parallel to Ndalkacho's government. August 1, 1974, Dirk imprisoned Ndalkacho Makonnen and replaced by Lij Mikhail Miru. The fall of the monarchy. This was the last stage to overthrow Emperor Haile Selassie from the power. Following Ndalkacho removal, Dirk became the only power holder in the country. Dirk had arrested many of the prominent figures of the regime. Emperor Haile Selassie, their last target. Then, Dirk carried out propaganda campaign to discredit Emperor Haile Selassie. Then, he was arrested and disposed Emperor Haile Selassie on September 12, 1974. Emperor Haile Selassie was overthrown from the power. Student, the next lesson, the military dictatorship, 1974 up to 1991. The Dirk proclaimed itself Provisional Military Administrative Council, in short PAMAC, and assumed full power. Before and after 12 September 1974, Dirk took several measures such as imprisonment of top military and civilian officials of Haile Selassie. Second, banning all anti-government strike and demonstration in the country. Third, repression of all forms of protest in the country. Execution of 52 renowned officials and functionaries of the old regime, by including his chairman, Aman Mikhail Andum. And conducting of development through campaign. By the way, this activity was a good activity of Dirk, conducting development through Zamacha to spread literacy and organize peasantry beginning from 1974. The other one, Proclamation, Ethiopian Socialism, and adoption of the official name of Provisional Government of Socialist Ethiopia. The other one, nationalization of bank, nationalization of insurance, industrial and commercial companies, as well as all rural and urban land in 1975, and eliminating of opponents to the personal dictatorship. Mengistu Haile Mariam was completed between 1977 up to 1978. Only the Ethiopian People Revolutionary Party, EPRP, continued its opposition to the military rule. In cooperation with all Ethiopian Socialist Movement, or MESON, the MESON and EPRP followed White Terror. Then the Dirk began what is called Red Terror against the EPRP and the MESON. Before the Dirk totally eliminate EPRP and MESON, it faced the invasion of Somalia. Somalia invaded Ethiopian territory in the eastern part of the country. Then Dirk assumed the role of patriotic leader successfully. He organized the training of 300,000 peasant military force and hastily sent in to reinforce the regular army. Mengistu hurried to make a new relation with Soviet Union, because Soviet Union formerly the supporter of Somalia. Later, Soviet Union involved on the side of Ethiopia. Soviet Union ending their relation with Somalia, and Soviet started to support Ethiopia. The other supporter of Ethiopia during the time, Cuba, Fidel Castro, he supports Mengistu Haile Mariam. And the other one, southern part of Yemen. Yemen, Cuba, and USSR was the supporter of Ethiopia. Then on March 1978, all Somalian forces drive out from Ethiopian territory on 1978. After the victory over Somalia, the three major issues took the attention of the military government. The first one, elimination of EPRP by using of red terror. Second, Dirk was the task of the formation of party. The first party of Dirk, the Worker Party of Ethiopia. It was formed in 1984. Mengistu became Secretary General of the Worker Party of Ethiopia. The third one issue was the suspension of opposition group and freedom fighters which are their bases in the northern part of Ethiopia. These were the Ethiopian Democratic Union, EDU, the Eritrean People Liberation Front, EPLF, the Tigray People Liberation Front, TPLF. Those are in the northern part of Ethiopia, the opponent of the Dirk. By 1977, 5% of Eritrea was under the domination of Dirk. Dirk attacks against EPLF were carried out under Red Star campaign. The Red Star campaign was implemented by Dirk to against Eritrea. But the Red Star campaign was failed at Nakfa. Nakfa was the base, the military base of Eritrea in the northern part of Ethiopia. The failure of Red Star campaign was turning point in the struggle between Dirk and the northern part of the country. Then in 1977, Dirk assassinated Tafari Banti. Then TPLF. TPLF or Tigray People Liberation Front was founded by a small group of university students who fled to Tigray in 1975. The struggle began at Dadabit. It's supported by EPLF. At the beginning, the TPLF fought with EDU, Ethiopian Democratic Union, and EPRP. Then the Dirk army started against TPLF under Raza campaign. Mind you, student, Dirk implemented to against Eritrea, Red Star campaign. Dirk implemented to against Tigray or TPLF, Tigray People Liberation Front, implemented Raza campaign in 1982. Then TPLF ambushed Dirk force and forced its surrender in the northern part of Ethiopia. By 1984, Dirk celebrated the Worker Party of Ethiopia 10th anniversary. The anniversary coincided with the severe famine that hit Ethiopia as a whole. Ethiopian calendar, the 1977 Ethiopian famine. Dirk worked resettlement program. Dirk worked resettlement program in the different part of the country, but different peasants opposed the resettlement of the Dirk. Several movement fighters or national self-determination formed, for example, the Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, the Sidama Liberation Front, the Oromo Islamic Front, OIF, Afar Liberation Front, ALF, Benishangul Liberation Front, BLF, and Gambella Liberation Front. On 16 May 1989, the officer staged a coup in Addis Ababa. That time, the coup was hastily began to take opportunity of Mengistu absence from the capital. He was a state visit of East Germany. By the way, this was organized by Fantabala and other supporters. The coup failed. Mengistu flew back to Addis Ababa to take his revenge. Then widespread arrest and all suspected officers were either executed or sentenced to severe long terms of prison. The other one, the external factor contribute for the decline of Mengistu Haile Mariam or for the decline of Dirk. The policy of Perestroika and Glasnost. Perestroika and Glasnost. This idea was developed by Mikhail Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev, he was the leader of USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. Before 1919 and 1985, the socialist states support each other. But after Perestroika and Glasnost, Russia stopped support to the other state. On March 1990, Dirk proclamation of mixed economy. The last, the Dirk proclaimed the mixed economy. Before that, Dirk followed command economic system. In the early 1990s, EPRP, Ethiopian People Revolutionary Democratic Front, formed by the following party: TPLF, Tigray People Liberation Front, Ethiopian People Democratic Movement, IPDEM, now called Amara Democratic Party, ADP, the Oromo People Democratic Organization, OPDO, the former, nowadays, the Oromo Democratic Party, or ODP. Those parties formed EPRDF. In 1990 and 1991, the United Force against Dirk in Gojam, Gondar, Wollo, and Shoa, and moved to Addis Ababa in the northern and western direction. On May 21, 1991, Mengistu fled to Zimbabwe, Harare. It marked the total collapse of Dirk. Then, on May 28, 1991, EPRDF force entered Addis Ababa with no resistance and brought to own Mengistu's military dictatorship. Then, on 26 June 1991, the provisional government announced that the National Conference to set up transitional government. All parties in the country were invited to attend in the conference. The conference concluded in the session by establishing transitional government of Ethiopia. The EPRDF established transitional government in 1991. The head of transitional government, or the Prime Minister of transitional government, was Tamrat Layen from 1991 up to 1995. Acting head of president of the country, Meles Zenawi. Meles Zenawi was a president. Tamrat Layen was a prime minister during the time of transitional government. On April 1993, referendum which voted Eritrea for independence was conducted. Then Eritrea became a separate independent state on April 1993. Ethiopian calendar 1985. In 1993, a new constitution was drawn up. On December 1994, approved by a constitutional assembly. After a nationwide election, the FDR constitution was set up in August 1995. Then the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia was present. The Prime Minister Meles Zenawi, the President of FDR Negaso Gidada, Girma Georgis. This all about today's topic, student. Answer this question. First one, explain about the downfall of the Dirk. Second question, list the cause of Gojam and Bale rebellion. The third one, discuss about the formation of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. The fourth one, what was the role of the student to overthrow Haile Selassie regime. The fifth one, explain about Etio-Somali conflict. The last one, how the attempt of coup d'etat failed in the 1960s. This all about what I have. Thank you very much. Bye bye.